For over 20 years, Google has been more than just a website. It's been the gateway to the world's information. The place billions of people go every day without even thinking about it. When you need an answer, you Google it. When you need directions, you Google it. The brand became a verb, and that's when you know a company has reached the level of dominance very few in history ever achieve. But here's the thing about dominance. It makes you comfortable. And when you get comfortable, you stop moving as fast. You stop being as hungry. You start protecting what you have instead of chasing what's next. That's exactly the situation Google finds itself in right now. Because while Google still controls the search market, something big is happening. Something that could make Googling a thing of the past. And the threat isn't coming from another search engine. It's coming from artificial intelligence. AI systems that don't just AIT. Only RubyKiss has the luxurious texture. That like it, yes, by lies on, smoothly. I live, a long last A, color. S, M.6, second alav, we see to live. AIUCD6, we see it, you see it live. It says it subbe by other lav, we see it, we be so wide, by we see it salud. We sikikan remai it kai it exitat high to Greek it is it to be it is a secret we I galets kisikit to be I by to sit it to be the line mest colon but because it the secret this help you find information. They give it to you instantly, directly, and in ways that are starting to make Google's traditional model look old. Let's rewind for a moment and understand why Google's current dominance has lasted so long. In the late 90s and early 2000s, the internet was messy. You had search engines like Yahoo, AltaVista, and Ask Jeeves. They worked, but not well. Search results were often irrelevant. Ads were mixed in with the results in a confusing way. And spam websites constantly tricked the system to get on the first page. Then came Google. Clean, simple, fast. Just a single search bar and 2 buttons. Type anything, hit enter, and within a fraction of a second, you'd have the most relevant results the internet could offer. People loved it. They trusted it. And slowly, Google became the default search engine for almost everyone. Google's growth exploded when it figured out how to make billions from search. Instead of charging users, it sold advertising space next to search results. If you searched for flights to Paris, you'd see ads for airlines. Search for new phone, you'd see ads for the latest smartphones. Advertisers loved it because it was targeted. They were showing ads to people who were already interested. That ad-driven model turned Google into a money-making machine. Year after year, the company earned tens of billions of dollars from search ads alone. And because they had the best search technology, no one could catch up. Microsoft tried with Bing. Yahoo tried partnerships. DuckDuckGo tried selling privacy. None of them worked. But now, AI is changing the game entirely. Unlike search engines, AI doesn't have to point you to a list of websites where you might find your answer. It can just get you the answer directly, in plain language, and it can tailor that answer to you based on your history, your preferences, and even your current mood. Imagine asking, "What's the best restaurant near me for a date night?" Google will give you a list of restaurants, maps, ratings, and websites you can click. You have to browse, compare, and decide. AI, on the other hand, might say, "There's a small Italian restaurant 2 blocks away with a quiet atmosphere and live jazz on Fridays. I can book you a table for 7 p.m. if you want." One requires your effort. The other solves your problem instantly, and that's the difference. Search engines make you do the work. AI does the work for you. Now, here's the part that should scare Google. Their business model doesn't fit into this new world. AI answers don't come with a sidebar full of ads. AI doesn't push you toward a list of sponsored links. And if people stop clicking, Google stops earning. Think about that for a second. The single most profitable business in the history of the internet could collapse if AI becomes the dominant way people find information. Of course, Google isn't blind to this threat. They've been working on their own AI, Gemini, and trying to integrate AI answers directly into search. But they're facing a huge problem. Moving too fast could destroy their own revenue stream, and moving too slow could let competitors take the lead. It's the classic innovator's dilemma. Do you protect what you have, or do you risk it all to chase the future? Meanwhile, new AI tools are popping up everywhere. They're not just chatbots, they're integrated assistants inside apps, smart devices, cars, and even wearable glasses. You don't have to go to them. They come to you, ready to help before you even ask. And once people get used to that level of convenience, they won't go back to the old way. You don't see people giving up their smartphones to return to flip phones, do you? Once a new technology feels natural, the old one feels clunky. History is full of examples. Kodak invented the digital camera but buried it to protect its film. Business died when digital took over. Blockbuster laughed at Netflix and stuck to its rental model until Netflix wiped them out. Nokia dominated mobile phones until Apple redefined what a phone could be. The same thing can happen to Google. Not because they're bad at what they do, but because the world doesn't need what they do in the same way anymore. The way people access information is changing, and the change is accelerating. And there's another factor at play: trust. Over the years, Google has faced criticism for tracking users, collecting data, and shaping search results in ways that serve its own interests. Many users are now looking for alternatives that feel more private, more personal, and less commercialized. AI assistants are positioning themselves as that alternative, even if the reality is more complicated now. Let's talk about speed. AI development is moving at a pace the tech industry has never seen before. New models are being released faster, better, and cheaper than ever. Features that felt cutting edge a year ago now feel outdated. This pace makes it extremely hard for a giant like Google to keep up, because their size makes them slower to adapt. And this is why the threat is real. Google isn't just competing against one AI company. They're competing against dozens, each moving fast, experimenting, and building loyal user bases. Some are backed by huge corporations. Others are coming from startups willing to take risks Google can't. If AI takes over even 30% of the global search market, that's hundreds of billions in lost revenue for Google. And remember, most revolutions don't start with 100% market takeover. They start small, and then they snowball. We might already be in the early stages of that snowball. The bottom line is this: the era of just Google it could be ending. The question isn't whether AI will replace traditional search. It's who will make it happen first. And if Google doesn't lead that change, someone else will. And history shows that once the leader falls behind, catching up is nearly impossible. So the next time you reach for your phone to type into Google, ask yourself, how much longer will this be the default? How much longer before the AI just answers you without a search box at all? Because when that day comes, the Google era might be over, and the internet will never be the same again.